Some keepers screamed. Phil Parkes stood still. He didn't chase attention, didn't play for the cameras, didn't ask for a legacy. He earned it quietly, completely in gloves that did more talking than most careers. He wasn't a quote. He was a presence. A keeper who gave his defenders belief not through words, but through stillness. Others made noise. He made silence feel safe. He didn't fly for the headlines. He got there early and made the save look simple. You won't find clips that go viral, but ask the men who played in front of him. They'll tell you what it felt like to have a mountain behind you that never moved. He played over 800 matches. You could count the mistakes on one hand. No gimmicks, no finger pointing, just clean hands and a calm that made fans breathe easier before the ball was even kicked. Phil Parkes didn't chase applause. He made it unnecessary. Subscribe if you still believe in the kind of football that didn't need fireworks to be unforgettable. Phil Parkes was born on August 8, 1950 in Sedgley, Staffordshire, a town built on hard work and heavier silences. Football wasn't fun. It was how you proved you belonged. At 18, he turned pro with Walsall in 1968. Third division. Tough games, cold crowds, rough pitches. He made 52 appearances in 2 seasons, not one with fanfare. But each one built a keeper you could trust. No tantrums, no nerves. Just a calm that didn't crack. In June 1970, Queen's Park Rangers paid £15,000 for him. No headlines, no questions asked, just belief. Parkes made his debut on August 22, 1970 against Leicester City. From that day, he became more than a new signing. He became the last line. For the next 9 years, he wore QPR's number. 1 shirt, 406 total appearances, 344 in the league. No controversy, no spotlight. Just a keeper who showed up game after game and made defenders feel braver by being behind them. He didn't demand respect. He made it unnecessary. By the mid-70s, Queen's Park Rangers weren't just solid, they were contenders. And at the back, always calm Phil Parkes. In the 1975-76 season, QPR pushed for the First Division title. They played football that surprised people, fluid, smart, fearless. But behind that bravery was a keeper who made it possible. Parkes played every single league match. 42 games, no rotation, no injury breaks. Just one man doing what he always did, making the extraordinary look routine. His presence let defenders gamble. His stillness gave midfielders time. QPR finished second. Just 1 point behind Liverpool. One more goal, one less slip, and they'd have been champions. In 1977, Parkes helped take QPR to the UEFA Cup quarter-finals, the club's deepest run in Europe. They had already taken out AEK Athens and Slovan Bratislava. Then came Cologne. Parkes was immense. But penalties ended it. He didn't complain. Just walked off quiet. Leaving behind memory, not regret. That same season, the players voted him into the PFA Team of the Year, a silent salute from peers who knew what greatness looked like when it wasn't asking for attention. QPR fans named him Player of the Year in 1973, and again in 1975. Not for speeches, for trust. That season, Phil Parkes wasn't just one of the best keepers in England, he was one of the best players, period. But England didn't call, not even then. Years later, QPR made it official, inducting Parkes into their Hall of Fame. Not for flash, for loyalty. While others looked for TV moments, he built trust in silence. And that year, QPR almost made history because they had a man in goal who didn't care about history. He just stopped the ball. In February 1979, football blinked. West Ham United paid £565,000 for Phil Parkes, a world record for a goalkeeper. It wasn't glamour, it wasn't hype, it was logic. They weren't buying flash, they were buying certainty. Parkes was 29, some doubted his knees. The media mocked the fee, but West Ham knew what they were getting, not a headline, a foundation. He walked into the dressing room like he'd always been there. No speeches, no promise of miracles. Just gloves, calm, and a stare that said, "You'll be fine." By season's end, the laughter had stopped. West Ham had their man, and he had his net. That year, West Ham weren't chasing stars. They were rebuilding identity. And Parks became their cornerstone, not with quotes, but with presence. Others came to shine. Parks came to hold the line. And every time the ball screamed through the air, he was already there, hands ready, noise gone. May 10th, 1980, Wembley, FA Cup Final. West Ham versus Arsenal. Second Division versus First. Underdogs against giants. Parks didn't blink. West Ham scored in the 13th minute. Trevor Brooking, forever remembered. But from that moment on, it was all Parks. Arsenal pressed. Crosses rained in. The crowd held its breath. And Phil Parks exhaled. No diving for cameras, no panic in the box. Just fists, gloves, timing, and the kind of presence that makes defenders believe they're never alone. And Wembley, for once, didn't need volume to feel drama. When the whistle blew, West Ham were champions. 1-0. Parks lifted the cup. No roar, no pose. Just a smile and a step back, letting others take the spotlight he'd quietly protected all game. That day, he didn't just win a trophy. He cemented a truth. Some players raised their voices, others raised the standard. Parks didn't save the final. He saved every moment that could have taken it away. In 1980-81, West Ham asked for security. Phil Parks gave them a fortress. He played every league match, 42 games, 22 clean sheets. The team finished top of the second division champions, back in the first. But stats don't tell it. What told it was how calm the pitch felt when Parks was in goal. He didn't shout instructions. He gave confidence in stillness. And that year, the crowd saw it. They voted him Hammer of the Year, a goalkeeper. Not the scorer, not the captain. The man who made it safe to believe again. And 2 years later, they voted him again. Because with Parks, form never dipped. The line never broke. And no matter how heavy the fixture list felt, you always had a man who stood tall and moved only when it mattered. He didn't win matches with drama. He kept them from being lost. And when the fans looked back on the year they came back up, they didn't just see a squad, they saw one man who never flinched. In 1985-86, West Ham reached heights they've never touched again. Third place in the First Division, the club's best ever top-flight finish. And at the back, still Parks, 36 years old. The press praised Cottee and McAvenny, the goals, the flair, the momentum, but none of it held without the man in goal who turned chaos into order before it even reached the 6-yard box. That season, West Ham dreamed big, and Parks made sure the dream stayed alive in the moments most fans never noticed. He wasn't loud, but his saves echoed longer than the cheers. And when the final table came in, it showed something the cameras never caught. Phil Parks didn't just have a great season, he'd become the calm center of the greatest season they ever had. April 3rd, 1974. Lisbon, Portugal versus England. Phil Parks got his chance. He kept a clean sheet, 0-0. And that was it. One cap, no mistakes, no second chance. It wasn't form, it wasn't failure, it was timing. He'd walked into an era where two names, Shilton and Clements, had already been carved into the England goalmouth. A rotation that made sense on paper, but not always on merit. Because while they took turns under the spotlight, Parks was building something else week after week at QPR, then West Ham, a mountain of consistency that never cracked. He didn't complain, didn't chase headlines, didn't ask for favors. He took the cap, folded it once, and got back to work. And while others posed in glory, Parks just added another clean sheet to the ones that never counted for country. Ask his teammates, ask his managers, ask the strikers who never got past him. One England cap, but 1,000 moments when he looked like the best man for the job. History missed it, but those who watched him never did. In 1990, after over a decade at West Ham, Phil Parks walked off the pitch for the final time. No parade, no media send-off, just a testimonial. August 19th, 1990. West Ham versus Ipswich. Nearly 15,000 came not for spectacle, but to say thank you. Old teammates stood beside him. Each cheer felt like payback. For years he never asked for anything. One last nod. To a man who had stood guard for 11 unbroken years. Over 440 appearances in claret and blue. Not a record, but a reign. He played one final season with Ipswich Town in 1990-91, making 7 league appearances, a quiet end to a career built on presence, not parades. He also appeared for England B, a small recognition, though never enough to reflect what he gave each Saturday. No coaching badge, no punditry, no memoir, just gone. As if legacy didn't need a microphone. He showed up for the odd charity match, a West Ham event here and there, but never chased the cameras. "My job was simple," he once said. "Stop the ball. Let the rest take care of itself." The fans never forgot. "If you didn't feel safe with Phil behind you," said Trevor Brooking, "you weren't paying attention." In 2003, they voted him into West Ham's greatest Ekwe. In 2018, he ranked 10th among the 50 greatest hammers, above men with statues. In 2023, he entered the English Football Hall of Fame not for headlines, but for quiet greatness. It should have come sooner. But with Parks, it came the only way it ever would, not demanded. Earned, save by save. Over 800 professional games. 1 England cap, 1 FA Cup, 2 Hammer of the Year awards, and a backline that always felt safer when he was there. Now 74, Parks lives quietly, no memoirs, no coaching, no media, just the odd charity match or fan day, still keeping it simple, still letting his legacy speak for itself. Subscribe for those who never asked to be remembered, but deserve to be. For the quiet greats.